Welcome back, Pokemon Trainers. Professor Chaz here, the lab coat's on back order, and happy late-ish Easter, everybody. Yes, Easter was this past weekend. It's currently the 28th on Monday as I'm recording and uploading this video, so I'm still within the range of the Easter weekend, so I say late-ish Easter, Anyway, I hope you had a very good holiday weekend. As for me, for Sunday, I took the day off, just kind of relaxed for the downtime. Normally what I will do is use Sunday to record as much footage as possible for the channel. For example, the Pokemon Blue playthrough, the TCG match, the Omega Ruby battles, but I thought it's a holiday kind of a Sunday. I kind of don't want to, be bothered doing anything productive. I just want to relax. So I did so, which means for this coming week, behind the scenes, which you won't see, I'm going to be playing a lot of catch-up to get the recordings done in time, but I don't think it's going to interfere with the upload schedule. I should be able to get things recorded in time to have them uploaded on the schedule I've been doing, so look forward to the first of the 3 episodes of Pokemon Blue this week, uploading tomorrow. Now, at the top of the video, I will mention, as per usual, I do have a random Pokemon TCG booster pack I'm going to be opening up. It is the Ancient Origins set, and as always, the Pokemon TCG online code card will be going to one lucky viewer who responds to the question of the day, which I will give you towards the end of the video as I'm about to open up this pack. So stay tuned for that towards the end, but now we get into the news updates. So if you play Pokemon Shuffle on your 3DS system, there's actually a big update that they've just made to the game. So if you go to your Nintendo eShop, and I'm pretty sure even in Shuffle itself, it'll give you a prompt to say that it has to be updated for these features. But you can download the update, and there's a lot of new things they've added in. First of all, originally you could max out a Pokemon's level at level 10, apparently. I didn't know that because I've never actually hit level 10 yet. But level 10 was the highest you could get them to. In this new update, they've introduced a new item called the Raise Max Level item. Now, there's a certain limit of Pokemon that can actually receive this item, and you can only use it a certain number of times on these Pokemon. But what it does, I would assume it increases their level max by 1. I'm not sure, like it might go up by 2 or 3, but I would probably say 1 is a safe bet. And of the 23 Pokemon that can currently receive this, just a handful to mention because there are a lot of them, the entire evolutionary chain of the Kanto starters, so that's Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise, and their pre-evolutions, they can all have their max level increased with this item. Another few noteworthy ones are Mew, Kyogre, and Groudon, so those are legendaries that can receive this. And for some reason, the middle evolutions of the Kalos starters, so that's Quilladin, Braixen, and Frogadier, they can all have the level increased as well. And I wonder why exactly the pre-evolution and the full evolution don't receive this item, but they do say over time they're going to add more Pokemon that can receive the Raise Max level item, so I'm sure the full evolutionary chain of the Kalos starters will get this at some point. Now, another update is they've added a few other items as well. The Experience Booster, and it says there's apparently 3 levels of this Experience Booster, so it probably increases, like, let's say, times 2, times 3, times 4, something like that maybe. And a Level Up item is introduced as well. And that just basically sounds like, give it to a Pokemon, suddenly they go up by 1 level. So that's actually very useful. And a whole new mode has been introduced as well, called Survival Mode. Now what happens here, of your entire collection of Pokemon, you choose 4 to start Survival Mode. You can't change them as you go through different stages. You have to choose the 4 best ones, for good type diversity perhaps, or if you just want to power through with one individual type, whatever you want to do. Choose your 4 best Pokemon. And you go through multiple stages using just a fixed number of moves across all the stages. And you want to try to see as far as you can get with just those 4 Pokemon and those initial moves that you're given. They've also introduced a little feature where the tutorial instructor Amelia, if you don't remember her name, don't feel bad, I didn't either. I've never seen her ever since the tutorial was over. But she now is leaving recommendations for Pokemon based on how well they perform in the battles. So she has little badges of her face that will appear next to the Pokemon, and essentially the more badges they have, the more recommended they are. Probably they can hit harder, the ability might be very useful. So if you don't know which Pokemon to go for as far as collecting, if you want to spend your coins on Great Balls, she will let you know which ones are the highest recommended to have. And in general, there's been some new improvements to the, navigation. So you can actually, instead of having to swipe across and go through every area you've been to, if there's something way back at the start you need to get, there's a nice little map at the top of the screen now. You click that, and you can just click arrows to go from back and forth to the different regions that you've been through. And the, what else is in here? Recommended levels, okay. So when you go into a battle in Shuffle, it'll let you know, like a nice big red starburst image, letting you know what the recommended level for Pokemon is to take on those Pokemon that you're going to be fighting. And I think I'm currently at the point where you can fight Mega Aerodactyl for the Aerodactylite, and I think it says max recommended level, sorry not max, recommended level is 6, if I remember correctly. It might be 7, but as soon as I saw that 6, I was like, this is serious. I have very few level 6 Pokemon. But anyway, it's a very useful piece of information to have, and you can basically just know how strong your Pokemon have to be able to do that. And now some new information regarding the upcoming Pokemon Go app has been revealed as well. So if you don't know what Pokemon Go is yet, I say go to Pokemon.com, look up Pokemon Go, and check out the video. It's actually something that's pretty cool, pretty unique, pretty interesting. And essentially what it is, it gives you a map of the whole world, basically, in your phone, and Pokemon will appear at various points on this map. So you can actually walk to the point that a Pokemon appears, your phone will vibrate to let you know there's one nearby, you can capture it into your collection on your phone, and just build up your collection that way. But some new things have been revealed about something else that can be done, or some other things that can be done with the app as well. So at certain points of interest throughout the world, there will be Pokestops and Pokemon gyms. So first of all, the Pokestop is a place you can go to, you can pick up special items like more Pokeballs and other items to use. And as you go through the game, the more Pokemon you capture, the higher your level will increase as a trainer, and that will enable you to get better items at these Pokestops. It also lets you capture stronger Pokemon as you encounter them as well. Now the gym concept is actually pretty interesting. So like I say, a certain point of interest, like they say a public art museum or something like that, you can encounter a gym. Now at some point in the game of Pokemon Go, you'll be invited to join one of 3 teams. And once you do join one of these teams, if you encounter a gym of your team, you can actually leave one of the Pokemon in your collection in that gym to help defend it. If you encounter a gym of a rival team, you can actually combat against the Pokemon in that gym to try to conquer it. So you can only leave one Pokemon, but it says work together with the rest of your teammates to leave a good variety of Pokemon. For example, let's go with Kanto starters. You can leave a Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise. That's a pretty versatile team of types. And to get these higher level Pokemon, though, it says you have to actually capture multiple copies of a pre-evolved Pokemon, and when you've captured enough of them, you'll be able to evolve one of them into the higher stage. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if it'll be like, for example, let's say Charizard. If you capture a bunch of Charmander, maybe one of them evolves to Charmeleon, would you then have to capture enough Charmander to make several Charmeleon to evolve one of them into Charizard? I don't know. Maybe that's how it'll go. We'll have to see when Pokemon Go does come out. So, another way to get some Pokemon, not just by capturing them in the wild, is sometimes at a Pokestop, you'll find a Pokemon egg. And much like in the video game, you can actually pick up the egg, take it with you, and I would assume after enough steps, or it's probably just after enough time has passed, the egg will hatch, and they say you might find a Pokemon you didn't even know could be in your area. Because the Pokemon are going to be sort of like region locked based on their own typings, for example. They give an example of, if you're near a lake or a river, you'll find more water Pokemon than you would say if you're in like the middle of the desert or something like that. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Here in my hometown, St. John, I imagine we're going to see a lot of Wingull, because there's plenty of seagulls around here. Going to see probably a lot of Pidove, because there's plenty of pigeons. Other than that, I can't really think offhand any sort of noteworthy species of local animals that, are in abundance that come to mind immediately. So it'll be surprising to see what Pokemon they decide to give us. We are near the water, so I'm hoping there's going to be a Squirtle somewhere around my area. But we will have to wait and see once they fully do reveal all of the Pokemon in the areas. And I think that might be everything. No, a few more little mentions here. There's going to be a number of achievements that you can pull off in Pokemon Go. I would assume things like, capture a certain number of Pokemon, this and that. And you're going to earn little medals for your Pokemon trainer icon, or sorry, your trainer profile. And I would figure that means you can actually visit other people's profiles and see what they've done. Maybe you can see a medal they have for an achievement that you didn't know about, and you'll know how to go about getting that medal for your own profile. That's kind of cool. And, of course, if you have heard of Pokemon Go, you probably already heard about the Pokemon Go Plus, which is a pretty cool idea. It's a little wrist-mounted Pokemon. It's almost like a Pokeball, but it looks like an arrow sort of thing. You can see the picture, and there's a button on the front of it. So this is like, essentially, I think they don't want people walking around looking at their phones, perhaps walking into traffic, trying to capture a Zapdos. That's dangerous. So they actually give you the option to connect to the phone via Bluetooth and your Pokemon Go Plus, where it will vibrate and light up based on events in the game. Say if it detects a nearby Pokemon, or maybe a gym or another trainer, and they actually have simplified things where the button on the Pokemon Go Plus, you can push that to do certain interactions, and they say you can actually just push that to capture a Pokemon. One thing I find interesting is they do say it's just like a button press to capture a Pokemon. I'm hoping it's going to be one of those, there's a chance that it breaks out, because that's kind of a staple of Pokemon. Weaken them down, and except for Safari Zone, of course. Maybe that's what this is going to be. Almost like Safari Zone style Pokemon capture. Because from everything I've seen so far, they haven't mentioned anything about battling wild Pokemon to weaken them. It's all about, you encounter it and you can capture it. So it might be, like I say, Safari Zone. You just throw a ball and hope you catch it. And that's why they've introduced some of the higher level Pokeballs, like Great Balls, at higher trainer levels. So anyway, as I say, the Pokemon Go Plus is basically to keep you going heads up as you're walking around. When you feel a vibration, you can just hit the button and try to capture a Pokemon. I would hope it would interact with things like gyms and other trainers as well. That way you can, sort of meet new people and have new achievements in the game. And at the moment, there is a field test planned for Japan, as the Pokemon Go app is still in production, probably just to see how well it works, and just test it out and see, like I say, basically see how well it works. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's coming up. I don't know what time this year, but hopefully soon. And I'm looking forward to just running around my whole town, seeing what Pokemon are here to capture. So that is actually all the news updates for the week. And I'm going to now get into opening the Ancient Origins booster pack of Pokemon TCG. But before I do, question of the day, which you can respond to in the comments below, and just use hashtag QOTD in your comment, answer the question, and we'll go into the running for the Pokemon TCG online code card, which I'll be giving out this coming Sunday, April 3rd. So the question of the day, for those of you that celebrated Easter this past weekend, did you get anything really cool for Easter? If so, what was it? Just leave that in a comment below, let me know what you got, and use hashtag QOTD, and you'll be into the running for that code card. Now, for those of you that might not have celebrated Easter, if you're looking, okay, how did I say this? If you haven't celebrated Easter, what gift are you most looking forward to receiving for the next holiday that you celebrate? Say perhaps a birthday, or something coming up later in the year. What would your dream gift be, essentially? So again, if you didn't celebrate Easter, you can just leave that as a comment. I was thinking I want to have two options for people that might have celebrated the holiday and those that haven't. I don't want to make it like an exclusive, only Easter celebrators can get this code. So those are your two options. If you celebrated Easter, what is your favorite gift you received this season? If you haven't celebrated Easter, then what gift are you looking forward to for your next holiday? So all that, leave that in a comment below, use hashtag QOTD, and you'll get the code card, which I'm about to pull out of this booster pack as I tear it open and see what I get for my collection. Well, I suppose I could mention that, although they weren't actually, say, Easter presents per se, I did pick up a few other things this weekend that were quite beneficial. Because there are a few decks that I've used in Pokemon TCG Online that I actually want to make the actual decks out of. So I did some trades at the recent Pokemon tournament that I was at to get enough cards to try to make a rudimentary version of my Ho-Oh EX Golduck Break deck. So I've got that one on the go. I've also got the creepy Shuriken itself, the Gengar Greninja. Now technically I need another Gengar to make this work, but it's at least a start to get that deck put together in the actual cards. And the final one I've put together is the crazy combo of Marowak Break and the self-knocking out Milotic. So I do have a decent number of cards for each of those. You could say those are kind of like Easter-type presents. Anyways, here we go with the opening of Ancient Origins. As I cut this open, just remember the question of the day. Did you receive anything cool for Easter? If so, what was it? And if you didn't celebrate Easter, which present are you looking forward to from your next holiday? So this goes to the side until Sunday, April 3rd, and I'll select one person that uses the hashtag QOTD as they answer their question to receive that code. So here we look at the... Am I doing this right? I am not doing this right. Here we go. Here we look at the cards that I receive in the actual physical pack. Starting with a Porygon, we have a Baltoy, a Malamar. I really like this card here. It's a common card. It's a stage 1. Trash Tentacle does a decent, not decent, but it does 30 damage. But put a card from your discard pile into your hand. It brings back any card that you've lost already. That is really useful. Next we have a Golett. The last common shall be a Ralts with Mumble. And uncommons begin with a Metang. Next up is a Sableye. And it's interesting, I haven't used this, I might want to do this sometime, but the Bewitching Eyes attack. Choose a supporter card from your opponent's discard pile and use it as the effect of this attack. That could be kind of crazy. Next we have a Tyranitar Spirit Link. You can Mega Evolve your Tyranitar without losing the end of your turn. The reverse foil card is going to be a nice Forest of Giant Plants. That'll definitely go in handy with the... I can actually replace the current one that I have in the Ho-Oh and Golduck Break deck, because I have a Paris and Parasect in that. Alright, the final card, as it's unfocusing, let me fix that up. Imagine a drum roll going on as we reveal... Ooh, Volcarona, not bad, with the Theta Stop Ancient trait. So prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon's abilities done to this Pokemon. And actually the Volcarona non-ancient trait I find is a little bit better in the sense that it can set things up. But Burning Scales does 20+, flip 2 coins. This does 20 more damage for each heads, and for a fire and 2 colorless, Wind Wheel does 80, and your opponent switches their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemon. So those are the cards I got from the Ancient Origins pack. Again, question of the day is, did you receive anything cool for Easter? If so, what was it? Of course, if you didn't celebrate Easter, which present are you looking forward to receiving most at your next holiday? So whoever answers that with hashtag QOTD goes into the running for the Ancient Origins Pokemon TCG online code card, which I will be doing a drawing for on Sunday, April 3rd. With all that being said, the video now comes to a close. I hope you come back tomorrow to check out the Pokemon Blue playthrough first episode of the week as we continue to take on Team Rocket in the Silphco office building. With all that, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for checking out the news update, everybody, and I'll catch you next time.